Oh, hi, hello there. I wanted to, well, since essentially I'm bored and I don't know, I feel like flexing. I decided to eh, just record myself talking about my, you know, uh, movie collection. Well, not all of it because it's gonna take too damn long, but at least for this video, at least the first two shelves. So let's see what we have here. Well, I know what I have here, but you know, uh, here we have Man of Steel, one of my favorite movies. Essentially, this part right here, all of these are my favorite movies, and a lot of them are made by my favorite directors. And Zack Snyder is one of my favorite directors. Sue me. So yes, Man of Steel, the best Superman movie ever. Sorry. And here we have BVS. Yes, yes, it's one of my favorites. Pretty underrated movie. Fight me. Okay, one next. What's next? Here we have Watchmen, another underrated comic book film. I honestly, wow, this is pretty old. I always forget this. This has like the digital 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 copy disc. I never used it, but yeah, Watchmen. I honestly do not understand the hate it gets. I mean, obviously as an adaptation, it's not perfect, but I don't know. In my opinion, this one, I think Snyder really just what he did was instead of making an adaptation about the comic book, I feel like what he did was he translated what the comic book was trying to do, which was to be a meta criticism on comic books, and he just made a criticism on comic book films, sort of a deconstruction of comic book films, if you will. But he did it, in 2009. Was it 2009? Let me let me make sure. Yeah, 2009. It was before even movies like Avengers, so it was ahead of its time, honestly. Okay, what's next? Soccer Punch. Yes, I do like this movie. I like it a lot. Uh, Ignore the extended cut. It's not. It's honestly just the same movie, but some scenes are just extended. It's not that important. And the reason why it's R, it's because the violent sequences that were already in are prolonged. So I don't know. Honestly, it's not that much different, but yeah, this is a movie worth rewatching. If you like watched it once in theaters or once on HBO, I honestly think that you should rewatch it. It's honestly a very good film. Okay, what do we have here? The Dark Knight, a classic. Honestly, one of my favorite, not only one of my favorite comic book films of all time, one of my favorite films of all time. And it's the Steel Book. Christopher Nolan, you outdid yourself. Very good film. Okay, what else do we have here? You Were Never Really Here. I literally love this fucking movie. I I fucking love this movie. I would dare say this is Joaquin Phoenix's best performance, and this is before the Joker comes out. So I don't know if in that movie he's gonna do better. So let's see. But Yes, this movie's amazing. Funny story, I live in Puerto Rico, so there wasn't a wide release on this movie. It was only out in two specific theaters that's called Fine Arts. Usually, those theaters put movies that they think are gonna be Oscar noms, and this movie was there, and I watched it twice, and I loved it. And as soon as this was released, the Blu-ray was released here, I went immediately to the nearest mall and bought this. And I couldn't find it at my Best Buy. I couldn't find it at any other movie store, so I had to go to Specs. And I found this by pure luck because people were pre-ordering this apparently, and I found this. It was the only one they had, and I bought it immediately. So yeah, watch this movie. It's amazing. What's next? Oh, yes. One of the greatest movies of 2018, Mandy. If you're a fan of Nicolas Cage, and I mean like big fan of his craziness, this you need to watch this movie. It's a it's not only like Nicolas Cage craziness, but if you're a fan of film and you love beautiful cinematography, this movie is the one you need in your life. It's just so beautiful. Like it's rare that I cry. I mean, I always cry during movies, but it's rare that I cry when I see like beautiful cinematography. Usually I cry over performances, but the cinematography and colors in this movie actually made me cry. So, yeah, it's amazing. Okay, what else do we have here? Get Out. Another classic. I don't know why. I feel like this movie recently, at least through film Twitter, this movie recently has been getting, I wouldn't say hate, but people are now, well, I wouldn't say people, but I've read some tweets that are saying that this movie is basic or boring. I don't know. Honestly, this movie's terrifying. I mean, it's not the scariest movie out there, but it's pretty terrifying, and the performances here are amazing. The visuals and the writing are top notch, and honestly, it's pretty good. I guess literally my biggest complaint about this movie is the box art. I don't know if you can see it. You know, it's pretty stupid. I like the black and white one. Yeah, that one is better. That's like my biggest criticism about the movie. Okay, what else do we have here? We have Brawl in Cell Block 99. This movie is Vince Vaughn's greatest performance, and not the poster, the box art. Look at this. The box art is reversible. Look at this. It looks like a 70s grindhouse movie. And this is basically what this is. This is a 2018, is it? 2018, no, 2017 version of a 70s film. The soundtrack is amazing. Vince Vaughn's performance is top fucking notch. If you think Vince Vaughn is a bad actor, which I honestly thought he was, I watched this movie and he blew me away. His performance blew me away. The action, amazing. It's just so amazing. Give it a watch. Rent it, buy it, steal it. Don't steal it. But yeah, try to watch it any way you can. It's a really great film. Okay, what do we have here? Spider-Man 2. Literally my favorite Spider-Man movie. I don't have it on Blu-ray because, you know, you can only buy it on Blu-ray if it's like the trilogy, so I haven't bought it yet. But yeah, this is a an amazing superhero movie. Honestly, in the trilogy, this is the best Spider-Man film. But after the new animated Spider-Man movie, Into the Spider-Verse, I honestly I don't know. I mean, this is still my favorite Spider-Man film, but Into the Spider-Verse is, I don't know, like competing with this one. It's that good, but yeah, this is a. I would, at the very least, I could say it's better than Spider-Man: Homecoming. Sorry, MCU fans, and a lot better than Amazing Spider-Man. Sorry, but yeah, Tobey Maguire rules. It's pizza time. I don't know why I did that. Sorry, I'm cringy. What else is here? They Live. One of my favorite films. Well, like I said, all of these are my favorite films and whatever, but yeah, They Live, amazing. John Carpenter is one of my favorite directors, and this movie. I'm sorry, my fucking brother's making a lot of noise and it's pissing me off. Anyway, yeah, John Carpenter is one of my favorite directors, and like a lot of his films, this when it came out, it wasn't that well received. So it developed a cult following until recently it became a classic. And yeah, it's one of his greatest films. I highly recommend. Well, I highly recommend all of these, but yeah, I highly recommend this one. Okay. Big Trouble in Little China. I really love this movie. If you think that John Carpenter only can do horror or drama, you need to watch this because he tried to do action comedy and he did it perfectly. Oh my god. I really love this movie. Most people describe this movie as a mixture. Well, not a mixture. They just look at it as like a Mortal Kombat live action movie. And, you know, Kurt Russell is in it. Honestly, all of the movies with Kurt Russell in them, directed by John Carpenter, they're always good. And I honestly really like the slipcover because it looks like a VHS and it has the original poster, while this Blu-ray unfortunately has this weird Photoshop box art that I hate. But yeah, it's a really good film. I don't know if you guys know this, but Fox is planning on doing reboot slash remake slash sequel, and they're planning on making The Rock be the protagonist, which honestly pisses me off. Not only me, it also pisses off John Carpenter because this movie, even though it's considered a classic now, when it came out, it flopped. Critics hated it, and it flopped financially. And it's literally the reason. After this movie, Carpenter decided to never do big budget films and started only doing low budget films like he used to. And the reason why this movie flopped was because Fox did not want to cough up money for the advertisements. Like, they only gave him like $1 million or $2 million, which might sound a lot. It's actually not that much. That's like giving you $1 because when you advertise a movie, you have to pay a lot of money. And $1 million or $2 million is not enough. So when this movie came out, a lot of people did not know it came out. Most people watched this in VCRs. Almost, I wouldn't say almost all, but a lot of John Carpenter movies, the only reason they not revived, the only reason that they now are considered good movies is because of VHS releases. Because a lot of them did not get wide releases, and this one did not get a wide release. And even John Carpenter's kind of pissed about Fox rebooting the movie because they're the reason that the movie did not do so well in the first place. So yeah, just a little interesting thought. Okay, where was this? Okay. Prince of Darkness. Yes. John Carpenter at his best in horror. This movie is creepy as hell. And really well made. What was the name of the actor? The actor that played Lucius in Halloween is in this movie, part of the main cast, and he plays a priest, and his performance is just amazing. Ooh, I really love this movie. Legit, there was a moment where he had a monologue that actually made me cry. Yeah, this movie's amazing. Okay, what do we have here? Halloween. You cannot call yourself a horror fan if you've never watched this movie. I mean, there's literally no more to say. Here's Christine, another favorite of mine. I'm sorry. I thought I had quiet here, but apparently I don't. There's a lot of noise here. Anyway, yeah, Christine, one of my favorite movies. Amazing. I feel like this movie is overlooked not only by normal moviegoers but also John Carpenter fans, because I see them mention all the other movies I've mentioned of John Carpenter, but this one I've never seen mentioned because I don't know. I mean, it's a great movie. It's simple, but I feel like there's more in between the lines in the movie. I mean, if you want to know, read my review on it on letterboxd. But yeah, to me, there's more to meets the eye in this movie. It's amazing. A great Stephen King adaptation and a great John Carpenter movie. I'm sorry if you hear a lot of noise. That's my brother watching a video, and he doesn't know I'm recording. No one knows. I regret doing that. I should tell everyone to shut the hell up, but whatever. I'm gonna keep going. In the Mouth of Madness, another great John Carpenter film. Yeah, if you can see the Blu-rays, kind of broken. It came this way through Amazon. Yeah, kind of pissed about that. But yeah, I also think this one's kind of underrated. Not only, for, like Christine, John Carpenter fans rarely talk about this movie. I feel like this movie is not for everybody because I wouldn't say it's complicated, but I don't know, it's just not for everybody. But it's really, just like Chris Stuckman said, I remember he talked about this movie once and he said that it was cerebral, and I agree with that. I mean, I don't agree with Chris Stuckman in a lot of things, but on this, yeah, he's right. This movie, I would say, is too cerebral for a lot of people, but I highly recommend it. Okay. Halloween 3. Honestly, I would say it's the second greatest Halloween movie. Only counting, the before the Rob Zombie ones. Yeah, I think this is better than Halloween 2, 4, 5, 6, H2O, Resurrection, all those. Yeah, this one's great. Not a lot of people talk about this, but John Carpenter actually wrote this. Well, he wasn't the only one who wrote it, but he was one of the writers. And it honestly shows because it has the same conspiracy elements as They Live. And yeah, like I'm putting yeah, They Live. And it also has the violence he's known for. And honestly, this movie, even though it has some bad acting, I don't know why I did air quotes, but yeah, it has some bad acting from some of the actors, but I would say the story overall is pretty underrated. It's a good movie. I mean, it's not perfect, but yeah, it's a good movie. Deserves to be rewatched. If you only watched it once, I would say watch it again. But I think that you might change your mind, in my opinion. Okay, what else do we have here? All the Boys Love Mandy Lane. Yeah, this movie's amazing. The other reason I even bought it was because I watched a, a video on it in the Good Backflix channel. If you guys don't know what channel that is, he basically does reviews, but he also does these explore videos where he basically talks about these movies and how they were filmed, the experience and whatever. And he did one on this, and this movie was made in the early 2000s or mid 2000s, and it was supposed to be released by that time, but it ended up being released in 2013 on Blu-ray. It never came out in theaters. The other way you can see it in theaters is through film festivals, but after that, never had a wide release. But it got released on Blu-ray in 2013, and it's honestly a great film. If you're a fan of 70s horror films, like Texas Chainsaw Massacre, this movie basically is a love letter to that era of horror films, and it's really great. It has a great plot twist. I'm not gonna spoil it any further, so yeah, watch this. Cabin in the Woods. Yeah, I fucking love this movie. I never watched it in theaters, but I watched it, on the Blu-ray, and I honestly love it. I don't know why, but I just love movies that deconstruct a certain genre. Don't know why, I just do. And this one deconstructs almost every horror genre, and it does so perfectly. I was gonna do the kiss thing, but I didn't want to do it again. I'm sorry, but yeah, I highly recommend this one. Ganja and Hess. If you've never heard about this film, I feel sorry for you. Another movie that I bought because of the Good Backflix channel. He did an explore video on this, and this movie is very, very interesting. It's completely art house. So if you're a fan of movies like Mother, The Shining, or Suspiria, movies like that, then this is the movie for you. It doesn't look that well on Blu-ray, but it's partly because, well, not partly, it's because this movie had various versions in VHS and DVD where they cut the film, and this is the only original version of the film. The other releases have other titles, but this is the one with the original title and the original cut. And unfortunately, this original cut, the film grain was stretched too much and there was only one copy of it. So when they when they transferred it to Blu-ray, it looks good, but it could look better. But honestly, under the circumstances, it looks pretty good. So yeah, so if you're a fan of horror and art house, then watch this. It's really great. Oh, if you notice that it's the same actor, if you notice, it's the same actor from Night of the Living Dead. So yeah, watch it. Drive Angry. Yes, it's one of my favorite movies. And I don't know how to explain it. It's not like it's so bad it's a good thing. I just don't know how to explain it. Like, this movie just always puts me in a good mood. Because it's just pure violent fun. It's just a fun movie. I don't know. I mean, I recommend it if you're into Nicolas Cage movies, then yeah, watch this. But it doesn't have the Nick Cage craziness. Everything in this movie is crazy except Nick Cage. The story, the CGI, it's horrible. The setting, everything is just plain out crazy. Except Nicolas Cage. He doesn't have that much dialogue either. So yeah, watch that if you want. Birdman. Yeah, this movie's amazing. I highly recommend this movie. If you're a fan of comic book films and Oscar movies, this movie is a great criticism. At least how I see it, this movie is a great criticism on high budget movies, superhero movies, theater, acting, even reviewing as a whole. All of that culture, this movie is a criticism on all of that. And it does so amazingly. So, yeah, watch this. Well, I'm gonna take these three because they're this, part of the same title. So, Twin Peaks. Yeah, I love Twin Peaks. The original series, amazing. Even though season 2 is flawed in a lot of ways, this series is amazing. David Lynch is a visionary. I love how David Lynch mindfucks everybody. So yeah, this movie's amazing. Twin Peaks: Fire Walk with Me, amazing film. Not a lot of Twin Peaks fans like this movie. I honestly do. It's the art house craziness, Lynchian craziness that you would expect. So, yeah, I recommend it. It's an amazing movie. This series fucked me up. I only watched it, the whole series once, and I'm honestly afraid to watch it again. It really messed me up in the head. I highly recommend all of this. You have to watch it. First, you have to watch the first two seasons, then watch the movie, and then watch this, if you have the time. Yeah, I love these films. Okay, here we have Eraserhead. Another David Lynch mindfuck. Yeah, I watched this movie and I honestly don't know what it's about. I honestly don't know. Yeah, I honestly don't know. Yeah. But I highly recommend it. Yeah, if you like art house films, yeah, watch this one. You can only get it on Criterion though, so you gotta buy it on Criterion. It's worth the price, to be honest. Oh, and also, yeah, Twin Peaks: Fire Walk with Me, also only on Criterion. So yeah. What else do we have here? Blue Velvet, another David Lynch classic, and another mindfuck. I mean, this one's easier to understand than the other two films, but it's still kind of a mindfuck. It's visually stunning. I would say the whole movie is like a dream. Like when you watch the movie, you get this feeling like, is this all a dream? Because for some reason, like, it just feels like it's a dream. So yeah, I highly recommend this film. Dune. Yeah, not a lot of Lynch fans like this movie, and the fans of the book, yeah, they hate this movie. Honestly, I think this movie is, how do I describe it? I wouldn't say passable. It's just that the soundtrack and the setting, the costumes, the effects, the visuals, to me, it's just so amazing that it makes me ignore the plot a bit. Because the plot is kind of flawed, but everything else is just so amazing. I would say watch it, you know, and give it a chance. You know, you might like it, you might not, but you know, give it a chance at least. Here we have Die Hard, a Christmas classic. Yeah, this Blu-ray didn't have this slipcover. I honestly, you know, just took this slipcover. I asked the employee. I was like, "Hey, can I just take this slipcover?" He was like, "Yeah." He didn't give a shit. So yeah, Die Hard, Christmas classic. What else I can say? Uh, Menace to Society. This is honestly one of my favorite films. I had a phase where I was really into hood movies. Like I have, I have Juice and Boys in the Hood. I used to be like really into that genre. I still kind of am, but I would say this one is the best out of all the hood movies, and it has amazing acting. Uh, and yeah, there are a lot of dogs on my street, so I'm gonna just close the window, see if that might help a bit. I don't know if it does, but yeah, this film has a great story, great acting. It doesn't have good cinematography or good editing because I think the directors, I think this was their first time. I think I'm not sure, but yeah, this is a great drama film, the best hood movie. I highly recommend it. Uh, Cowboy Bebop. Yeah, I'm kind of a weeb. I don't know if you can see, but over here, like all of this here, are essentially anime films. Well, not films, anime films and series. It's not that much, but it's mainly because anime Blu-rays are too damn expensive. Like some of my favorite series are like 12 episodes for like $60 for some reason. I don't know why. But yeah, Cowboy Bebop the movie. Honestly, if there was an anime film that I would recommend, it's this one. Or the series. Like the series is amazing. It's so mainstream that people who don't even like anime watch it. But the movie, the animation is just so beautiful. Like it's just animation porn. Yeah, but yeah, it's a great movie. I highly recommend it. Okay, here we have Battle Royale. It's honestly, well, if you don't know this movie, it's basically like Hunger Games, but before Hunger Games. It's because of this movie that we have games like Fortnite and all the other Battle Royale games. But yeah, this movie is amazing. A lot of drama, a lot of great cinematography. This movie is weird because even though it's made in the early 2000s, you watch it and the way it was filmed, it looks like a 70s film in my opinion. But yeah, it's a great film. What I would say is the first Japanese movie I watched, and I really love it. I highly recommend this movie. But again, I highly recommend all of these because these are my favorites. Okay, here we have Sin City. Wow. The first one, not the second one. This movie is amazing. Frank Miller really outdid himself in this movie. Frank Miller, Robert Rodriguez, and Quentin Tarantino directed this film, and it's just amazing. The special effects is so groundbreaking. I honestly believe that Zack Snyder was inspired by this movie, and I think this is why we have movies like 300 and Watchmen. That the visuals are just so comic booky. Basically, this movie embodies live action comic book films. It just looks like you're reading through a comic book film, and the story is amazing. It's compelling. Bruce Willis, Benicio del Toro, Rosario Dawson, and what's one of the other actors' names? Yeah, I don't remember the other actors' names, but yeah, the cast is amazing. Highly recommend this film. Uh, I, Robot. Yeah. Yeah, I like this movie. I honestly agree when I don't remember which reviewer said this, but I remember a reviewer said that this movie's like a dumbed down version of Blade Runner. It kind of is, but the visuals and Will Smith's acting is just honestly it's pretty good. Uh, if you just watch this once, I would say watch it again. It might hold up, might not, but it's a good film. It's worth rewatching. Here we have Tango and Cash. My my brother really hates this film. I always tell him that, yo, you want to watch Tango and Cash, even though I watched it a billion times, and he always gets mad at me. Um, it's not the greatest buddy cop movie. Lethal Weapon is a lot better. In fact, one of the writers of Lethal Weapon wrote this. Uh, Honestly, the story behind this film is really interesting because it went through development hell and it went through various directors. A lot of people even speculate that Sylvester Stallone directed this movie and he was the only reason the movie was held together. And honestly, the only good thing about this movie is Sylvester and Kurt Russell because their chemistry is undeniable. And, their jokes and the way they interact, it's just amazing. But the story, the effects, the action sequences, they're not good. But the villain, I really love the villain because he's just such a goofy ass villain. So yeah, if you love dumb action movies, then yeah, this one's the one to watch. Here we have a classic, Blade Runner. Honestly, there's just nothing else to say. Amazing movie, beautiful, stunning. If you haven't watched this movie, watch it. It's amazing. It's amazing. Blade Runner 2049. This movie is amazing. It deserved the Oscar it got for its cinematography. I really recommend this film. I would say, if you can, I would say watch both the first one and then this one and just enjoy the experience. I would say my favorite thing about this movie is the mix between the soundtrack and the cinematography, but also the story. It's just so hard to choose. With this movie, it's just so hard to choose which is my favorite thing about it because I love everything about it. Everything. It's just that good. Watch it. Here we have John Wick. I don't have it on Blu-ray. I don't know why, but yeah, John Wick. I would say John Wick is in the top 5 best Keanu Reeves movie. I would say number 1 in my opinion. So yeah, one of the greatest action movies. I would say John Wick popularized the fact that you don't have to do shaky cams to make an action movie because movies like Taken for some reason and well, not only Taken, the Bourne franchise, for some reason those movies put out this rule that, oh, if you want to do action movies, you gotta do shaky cams. But yeah, this movie, no shaky cams, amazing acting, amazing action sequences. So yeah, highly recommend. Here we have Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey. I don't have the first one, but I wanted to buy this steel box because for some reason I always loved the sequel of Bill and Ted. It's just so well made. I love the soundtrack. I love the visuals and the costumes, the wardrobes. I don't know why. It's just so pleasing in the eye, I would say. And it's funny. This movie is really funny. I would highly recommend this movie. But obviously watch the first one and then this one, because then you're going to be kind of lost. But yeah, it's a great film. Another Keanu Reeves movie. Here we have Teen Wolf. If you notice, Bill and Ted and Teen Wolf are part of the collector's edition because they were restored by Scream Factory. Honestly, this movie is not a masterpiece per se. I mean, to me, there's more than meets the eye to this because I feel like the writers were trying to go for a movie about puberty, but they used the werewolf mythology to get that point across. I don't know. That's my opinion. This movie's funny. It has heart. It's not the greatest Michael J. Fox movie, but I would easily put it in the top 10. And it's worth watching, in my opinion. Also, if you're a fan of 80s movies, this movie is pure 80s. When I say pure 80s, it's pure 80s. Like, this movie is exactly how you would imagine an 80s movie. So if you're a fan of that, watch it. Here we have The Other Guys. This movie is hilarious. Man, I really love this movie. I don't know, when it comes to Will Ferrell movies, I don't see this movie mentioned ever. The chemistry between Will Ferrell and Mark Wahlberg is just amazing in this film. I don't know. It's really funny. If you like buddy cop films, this one is, I would say this is a kind of a deconstruction not a deconstruction. I would say this is kind of a parody of buddy cop movies. And it has some action, but it's mainly a comedy. I would highly recommend this. It's just funny. Here we have Starsky and Hutch. I really love this movie. Todd Phillips really outdid himself in this film. I would say this is the best Ben Stiller and Owen Wilson movie because their chemistry is just amazing in this film. I've heard of Starsky and Hutch, the show, never watched it though, but I decided to watch this movie and it's just amazing. The soundtrack, like every Todd Phillips movie, the soundtrack is amazing. Amazing. And the chemistry between the cast is undeniable. So if you like buddy cops and you love comedic cop movies, so watch this one. It's worth watching. Here we have Larry Crown. I really love this movie. There's not that much to say about this film. It's like a mixture of romantic comedy with drama, with comedy. It's hard to pinpoint the genre of this film. It was directed by Tom Hanks, you can tell, and honestly, I think this movie wasn't out to prove anything. I honestly believe when Tom Hanks wanted to make this film, he just wanted to have fun filming a movie. And I don't know, I feel like when you watch this movie, you can tell that the cast was just having fun with this. And it's just what it is. I would say the best way to describe this movie is a feel-good movie. So if you want to watch a movie to feel good, then watch this one. It's amazing. House Party. I really love this movie. I think I have the sequels. Yeah, I have these movies. Yeah, these are pretty old. Honestly, I really like these movies. Well, I don't like the sequels. Sorry, I only like this one. I really like this movie. It's just really funny and really endearing. is pretty underrated when it comes to party movies. I never see this movie mentioned. You only see movies like, I don't know, like Animal House, Project X, all these other movies, but I never see this movie mentioned. It's really funny, and yeah, watch it. It's really good. And what else? Game Night. This movie is amazing. It's rare. It's honestly rare for me to find a comedic movie that has amazing cinematography and soundtrack. The soundtrack and cinematography on this movie is amazing. It's funny as hell. Rachel McAdams and Jason Bateman. It's undeniable. It's a great film. Watch it. Watch it. Here we have Clue. This movie's hilarious. Tim Curry, Christopher Lloyd. This movie's amazing. I would highly recommend this film. Yeah. It's funny. It's extremely funny. I mean, some of the acting is weird, but I think it's on purpose. I don't know. But it's really funny. Like, really watch it. It's amazing. I Love You, Man. I really love this movie. I would say the best way to describe this movie is, you know, romantic comedies. I would say this movie is a bromantic comedy, because instead of like making it about Paul Rudd and what was the name of this actress? I forgot her name. Rashida Jones. Instead of making it about Paul Rudd and Rashida Jones's character, it's more about Paul Rudd and Jason Segel's character. I mean, you can even tell by the fact that their names are here instead of hers. And yeah, it's about these two having a friendship, and something happened and they had a falling out or whatever. It's a romantic comedy. It's a romantic comedy about two dudes. It's funny. Really funny. So I highly recommend it. And here we have... Wait, how long has it been since Jesus Christ, 47 minutes. Yeah, I'm not gonna be able to record. Maybe I'll do another video on, you know, the other shelves. But at least this is the last one. Grandma's Boy. Yeah, this movie, I rarely see this movie mentioned, and it's a Happy Madison production. This movie is honestly really, really funny. Weirdly enough, Adam Sandler is in this movie. Neither Kevin James or the other dudes from Happy Madison. But yeah, this movie's really, really funny, honestly. I don't remember the name of the actor that plays the leading role. What's his name? Alan Covert? Is that his name? I don't know. I'm honestly not sure. But yeah, this movie's really funny. And honestly, most of the knowledge I've gained from developing video games and stuff came from this movie. And I never watched it in theaters, because ironically, I don't know why, this movie was constantly playing in HBO or on Showtime, you know, all those other premium channels. And this movie was always playing. I always watched that as a kid, never got tired of it. And one day I just decided to get the DVD. It doesn't have a Blu-ray, unfortunately. I think it deserves a Blu-ray, maybe. I don't know. I mean, if The Room deserves a Blu-ray, why not this? But yeah, this is a really funny film. I would say it's better than a lot of the Happy Madison movies, you know, like Grown Up, the Blending movie, all those other weird movies. Yeah, this is really funny. Watch it if you can. You can buy the DVD. It's really freaking cheap. Recently I looked it up on Amazon. I saw the DVD even for like $2, so you know, I don't know, give it a chance. It's really funny. Sorry, my battery looks like it's dying. I guess that's my cue to leave. Anyway, this was all the, you know, the top shelf movies I have. Yeah. I'm not gonna say that all these other movies are bad. They're not. Some of them are also my favorites. Some of them I regret buying. But at least I can say that this part, god damn it, at least all of these movies are my favorites. But most of these movies I have here, I either like, love, but you know, again, this one is my favorite movies. So I'm just gonna stop here. Thanks for watching.